Ciao, we are not sure what we're going to be calling this recipe, but it involves pork. And I was going to call it pork chops stuffed with something, but apparently it's not good. My son said piggy in the middle, but we will think of a name.
Yeah, it's because there's not a chop.
No, it's not chop.
It's not a chop, that's why.
I'm going to slice my own pork, by the way, and I've got a nice piece of shoulder. I'm going to be removing this fat, that's too much. It's going to get in my way. If you want to make this and you can get hold of some slices of pork, by all means do that. It's much easier than cutting your own. But I like experimenting. I'm doing my best to cut some slices, and I'm going to make them quite thick, as this is shoulder of pork and it's a little bit crumbly. So I'll make them thick, but I will be bashing them in a little while anyway. Make sure your knife is nice and sharp, by the way, otherwise it's more dangerous to have a blunt knife than a sharp knife. So I've got a fair amount of meat out. I will not be using it all. I'll be making a pasta sauce tomorrow with some leftover, but I'm going to show you what I do to thin it now.
Before and after.
Before and after, indeed. So I'm using this meat pasher.
His favourite toy at the minute.
Isn't that amazing how much bigger it gets? There you go. So we got 2 already, another 6. If you're using a similar tool, make sure that you start from the middle and go towards the outside. Just a couple of times, really, that's enough. I've chosen shoulder because that's what I have in the freezer, but you can use any cut of meat as long as you get nice pieces. You can also use leg. Actually, leg most probably is even better, but shoulder will be a little bit fattier and release a lot more flavor. I'm cooking for 4 people, so I've got 8 pieces of meat all laid down, and I've got some left over. This will be for a ragu tomorrow. I'll do a video for that as well tomorrow. I'll put this on one side and I'll get the other ingredients ready. So I'll start with my spinach and with some garlic. So clove of garlic, as I got a nice little crusher, I'll crush with this. There you go. Perfect job. And I'll give a very quick chop with a knife. These are 4 balls of spinach. They were frozen and I have squeezed all of the water out, and I'm now going to also give them a chop with my knife and mix it with the garlic. And they are done. I'm going to be using some ham as well, and these are ham pieces that we bought from the supermarket. They're cheaper and ideal for this sort of recipe, so I'm going to be slicing it into little pieces. A couple of eggs, ideally fresh. Give them a quick beat with a fork. Add some pepper. I'm now grating in some pecorino cheese. You can also use Parmesan. I would use pecorino because it's saltier, and I'm not adding any salt to this.
Are you not going to show them your lovely, our lovely
yes.
cheese grater? No, is that the original one we bought?
Yeah, we've had this for 30 odd years. Still works fine. Wonderful. That will do fine. And mix it again. I'll put this on one side as well. And I'm ready to start assembling our pork sandwiches. What are they called, Julie?
Still not sure.
Whatever.
We'll call them pork sandwiches for now.
Pork sandwiches for now, okay. And I'll start with the cheese. This is cheddar, mature cheddar, and you can use any cheese you like, but make sure that it melts nicely. Next I will be adding a little ham in each piece, so I think I've done more than what I need, but it will not be a problem in this house. As you put your ingredients on, press it with your hand to ensure that they start taking a good shape. Sun-dried tomatoes next. I've got 1 tomato per slice, and I'll put it in the middle. And now moving on to my spinach, which I marinated with my garlic earlier, so that'll go in next. Of course, you can also use fresh spinach, entirely up to you, but these are 4 frozen balls. Press it down and try and keep your ingredients as much as you can towards the middle of your pieces of meat. And I will end my filling the way I started with cheese, but a different cheese. This is mozzarella, a fresh mozzarella which I've sliced earlier. Press with your hand
clean, obviously.
Ideally. And move along with the top and place it on top, and again press with your hand, especially at the edges. Make sure that you push it with your fingers. I really love doing recipes like these. They bring me back to my youth when my mum used to cook things like this, and they are different, they're rich but also healthier because I'm going to be doing them in the oven. You can also fry them, by the way, but I will do them in the oven. I'm sure there is a name for these, but I'll have to find one ready for when the video is edited, but we will call them pig in the middle for the time being. That's my son's suggestion. Julie asked me if I should do a practice one first. I said, no, let's go for it. We'll do it live. So get hold of one with both hands, and no matter how you look at this, you're gonna get your hands dirty, so be prepared. It's important that you mostly seal the edges as well. So do one side, press it down, get hold of it. Make sure that you are holding it properly. Turn it around. Go underneath. Pick it up. Move it on some breadcrumbs. These are just breadcrumbs, by the way, nothing else. All of the goodness is in the egg. Turn them around. And then with your fingers, go where the edges are and push some breadcrumbs to create a seal. And while you're at it, press it with your hand.
E voila.
Pick it up, le voilà, yes. Ecco fatto. There you go. And we place it on top. Make sure you go some baking paper on top of your tray, otherwise it'll get stuck eventually. We're nearly ready for them to go in the oven, but before I do that, I'm going to do 3 things. A little pepper, a little bit more pecorino on top, or parmesan if you're using parmesan, and one last touch of olive oil on top of each piece of meat to make sure that they get lovely and golden. I'm going to pop them in the oven for 30 minutes. However, it's quite a lot of meat there, so first 20 minutes I'll cover them with some tin foil. The last 10 minutes I will remove the tin foil and I'll get the crispness in them. But I'll let you know once they're done if I've elongated the time by any means. It's usually half an hour. And they're cooked. Wow.
Smell lovely. Wow, enormous.
So for the record, absolutely correct. 30 minutes, 20 minutes plus 10. But what I did to give them a little bit of crispiness for the last couple of minutes, I popped them under the grill, and that's why we got a lovely crispy top. I'll just do it with a fork.
Well, you coordinate so beautifully with them. Look at that.
I do I? So I'm gonna pick one up with a spatula, and you will see that they are perfectly held together by the egg and the breadcrumbs, and we have created a beautiful thing today.
Create a beast.
And I'm gonna cut one up to see what it looks like. Ooh. Oh, I can smell the garlic, can you?
I can smell everything.
Oh, look at that. Lovely. Oh my god, the smell. They remind me of chicken Kiev.
Yeah.
But without
Maybe
the
you go
chicken.
and pork Kievs. Except there's not lots of butter in them.
None at all.
There we go.
Here we go. It has to be done. Oh god, it's to die for, really. And the pork is such a good thing to do with this. Definitely, I think it's even better than chicken in this case. But chicken is also very nice. That's it. Make it, and if you do, let me know how you get on. Ciao ciao, and buon appetito. Ciao.